Welcome back. Tonight we've been talking about autism, and with us once again is Real Housewives of New Jersey star Jacqueline Larita and the CEO from the Autism Cares Foundation, Linda Cooper. Welcome again. Now
you.
we've been talking individually with each of you, and many years ago when parents got a diagnosis of autism for their kids, they were told that they need to hospitalize or institutionalize their children, and today it's very different. So what do you hope, what are your hopes, both of you, for your children? I want to start with you, Jacqueline.
Okay, for me, it's just educating people, getting the community involved, teaching, compassion of other people's idiosyncrasies. People can be different, but they, there's things that, like autism is just one aspect of who they are. They also have a lot of likes, and they may have a lot in common as well, and just learning to understand, be compassionate.
So they're like everybody else.
Yeah.
We all have our likes and our differences,
Right.
and it's about really being able to support them and promote them. What about
Yes.
you, Linda?
My concern is basically after 21, especially Michael being 15 and
Right.
21 is around the corner. So my concern is finding the right facility, and that will enable Michael to continue to grow. And that's what Autism Cares Foundation is working on and moving towards. Our long-term goal is to develop the Autism Center of Excellence and Enrichment facility.
Oh, that's great. Oftentimes, once children max out of education, 21, there aren't facilities, or the facilities are so overcrowded, and you and I were talking earlier that many of these children wind up at home and kind of
Yes.
regressing because they're not getting the
Stimulated.
stimulation and the education that they need. What were you going to say?
I know my child's so young, but I do still think about that, and it's amazing to me because, autism is a communication and socialization disorder, and you'd think there'd be more of that. You teach them all the skills that they need so they can, succeed and,
Right.
and excel, but then the social part has to come in, and I wish more people in the community would step up and come together and like what you do, and volunteer to interact with these kids, stimulate them, pull them, into, they say bring them into our world, you go into their world, see things from each other's perspective and learn from each other.
Right. So we were talking about that before, during the break. So what can parents of children with autism do to promote that? I know you've been doing that with the foundation, but what do parents need to do to make that socialization and that community awareness happen?
Probably just to get involved, just
Get their
to
kids
get involved
involved.
and get their
Maybe
children involved, especially
Encourage play dates
Exactly,
with children.
exactly.
With typical
special-
children.
right,
yeah,
and the
typical.
events that we provide has that, because when they come to an event, it's the parent that connect. It's
Right.
the sibling connect, because we forget about the siblings, because they're going through all those changes right along with the parents. Having that connection, and then the individual with autism gets to connect too. So it's that bond, it's that connection.
And it's so important that the sibling feels a part of it and not embarrassed and
Right.
not feeling neglected in some way, but really
That
that he or
one-on-one
she
time is important
Right.
also.
So what's your message to? We talked earlier when you were on. What's your message about the message to parents with children with autism? But what's your message to typical parents? Let's start with you.
Well, don't take anything for granted. Like the baby steps that I see all the time bring us so much joy, and you learn to appreciate the little things that they do because you realize how hard they work for those things. And if you have a typical child, don't take those things for granted. Maybe encourage your child to be compassionate towards someone who may be different in some way. Different doesn't mean bad. Different is just different,
Different's different.
and that's okay. And just tell them to invite a child over, or even a hello, or don't bully, don't if they see their child is bullying another child, then if I was that parent, I would take that child and bring them to my house and or have my child go to their house and see what a day in the life of
Right.
what that child goes through, and maybe they'll learn to be a little more compassionate about it. And
What's your message, Linda?
I think my message would be get their children involved. Now a lot of schools have link hours, and get them involved in the community. See what it's like. Connect with them. If they don't want to connect to them in a home environment, well, it's even like the activities that we do. A lot of them connect through events.
Right, and we were talking about friendship circles to invite children, a typical child, and autistic children together to
I wish there
learn
was
how to
more
play.
after-school social groups like that.
Right.
like what-
Exactly.
what you do
That's
to-
what's important. Teach them compassion, understanding, and patience, and they have feelings.
And they're brilliant.
They are.
You can
oh
learn
my
something
gosh,
from
They
them.
are amazing. And
They're
I'm not su-
amazing.
Right.
And they keep testing us every day.
And that's why I asked you earlier, what have you learned from your son? Because it just keeps
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
But before I continue, I've been looking at this BLK, this mineral-infused water. Jacqueline,
Yeah.
you want to tell us about this?
Little elevator pitch.
Real
yes.
fast here.
77 trace minerals, electrolytes, antioxidants,
And
natural.
it's black because
no
of the
carbs,
minerals.
no calories, no sugar. It's
No
black because of the
sugar,
minerals.
and
not
it
gonna stain
tastes
your
just
teeth.
like water.
It tastes like water, and there's flavors now.
And I get to take one home. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Linda and Jacqueline. You've been wonderful,
Thank
and your message to everyone is really important. Power Your Life returns in a moment. Do you know that children with special needs are 2 to 3 times more likely to be bullied than their more typical peers? A recent nationwide poll of parents found that 63% of kids with autism have been bullied. 63%. What's our role? I believe in my heart that to be bully-free, we all must take a stand and be accountable. We need to stamp out bullying in our schools, in our communities, our homes, and at work. And we also need to lend a voice, lend your voice to be heard. That's it for tonight's Power Your Life. On next week's show, we will meet Eric Miller, who is helping raise awareness of epilepsy in a very unique way. Tune in to find out. I hope to see you then. Remember, you have the power to power your dreams and power your life.